everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Darla. My name is Hannah Bollack, and I am from Frederick, Maryland. I'm a proud member of the National Network for Youth Advisory Council, and I'm very happy to be here with you all this afternoon, and also thank you for being here. Throughout my childhood, I have experienced housing insecurities, generational poverty, and trauma. I didn't know my educational rights under the McKinney-Vento Education for Homeless Children and Youth program. After exiting high school, I realized what my McKinney-Vento status really indicated and the educational supports upheld by the law. I lost contact with my birth parent at 16 after gaining the strength to report the abusive situation that I was living in. I stayed with a distant family member until my 18th birthday, and on that day, I left the toxic environment as soon as I legally could or could choose to do, with $40 and as many trash bags as I could stuff into the back of my friend's car, and then I was staying with her in her basement when the reality of my situation hit me. I couldn't obtain my vital documents like my birth certificate or ID, and without these things, I wasn't able to get a job or access any public benefit programs. I reached out and tried to access housing and other services, but there were no housing programs that I qualified for because I wasn't living on the street or staying in a place unfit for human habitation for the length of time I needed to be considered homeless within that definition. I learned that there were no Runaway and Homeless Youth Act funded programs in Maryland, not when I was in crisis nor now. And these programs are tailored for youth and young adults experiencing housing insecurities and could have provided assistance for someone in my situation. Instead, my community only had adult-focused programs overseen by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. I struggled for years reaching out to agency after agency, system after system, and being told no, being told I needed an ID, being told I wasn't homeless enough, and that I didn't qualify for the services that they could potentially provide. But I did need help. I was on my own without a family to support me, and I was preparing for the worst and had no other plans other than finally being safe, but I was still scared. That is because every system and program in my community was not designed for me. They were designed for adults, and my homelessness was more hidden. But yet I stand here today because I was eventually able to receive support and help. Because of my persistence, because I didn't give up on myself, even when it felt like the world had given up on me, even though I felt like I shouldn't care about what would happen in my life, even though I had little hope of getting any chance of trying to achieve any of my goals. I was connected to a transitional housing program that introduced me to my host family, and this was a huge turning point in my life, and I have no idea where I would be without them, my Melissa. I love her dearly. The kindness of this host family filled that gap in my community, and they went above and beyond to meet my individual needs and support me while navigating interconnected barriers. For example, when I left, I grabbed the only thing that I thought was important, which was my social security card. Didn't really know that at the time, but that is all I had, and in order to get an ID, you need your original copy of your birth certificate. In order to get that, you need a valid ID and another form of identification. So the barriers just seemed impossible to overcome. But after trying for months, some kind person made an exception based on my situation, and I was able to obtain a valid ID and apply for health insurance, get a bank account, all of those things. And they also connected me with services which enabled me to work towards my goals, which were housing, employment, access to higher education, and access to reliable transportation. And I gained employment actually through that organization, and I had the unique opportunity to interact with other young people experiencing similar situations as I had, and became a young leader within my role, and I will forever remain grateful towards my experiences, the amazing people that I've met, and the amazing work that I was able to be a part of. After accomplishing all of those goals, With the support of my host family and my case manager within the transitional housing program, I applied to a nursing program with a 4.0 GPA. I'm currently on the dean's list for my academic. And I will be graduating December 2024 with my associate's degree in nursing. And the funny thing is if you would have told me that I would be standing here or even was able to go to college, I wouldn't believe it 5 years ago. And because of that, I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones. I wish everyone could have their own Melissa, and many of the young people I know who were experiencing homelessness when I was are still struggling. No young person in the same situation I was should have to be lucky in order to exit homelessness, to be safe, and to have the means to pursue their dreams. Like I have been able to, every single person deserves an equal opportunity to grow. I shouldn't have had to struggle for as long as I did before I got help, and there should be Runaway and Homeless Youth Act funding for programming in every community. That is why I am asking you all to support and co-sponsor the Runaway and Homeless Youth and Trafficking Prevention Act of 2023, because passing this legislation will ensure that less young people struggle. Woo.